Hey everybody, it's Andy and it is live office hours time. I love this part of the week. I'm so glad to have you, and today we're going to talk about how to get noticed on LinkedIn. Loads of stuff to go through because it's a complicated system, but I promise you by the end of this little session, you are going to know how to get noticed. You are going to know what you need to do, all the steps you need to take. You're gonna learn about some myths, some things you've probably been told that don't make any sense or certainly aren't working for you. And I'm also gonna talk with you and put some things in perspective about how what I'm gonna share today is actually gonna give you 3 times as much of a chance of finding your next job than actually all the resume submissions you've been doing into the applicant tracking systems. But before we get into that, I want to say hello and introduce myself. My name's Andy LaCivita. I'm the award-winning author of The Hiring Prophecies and Interview Intervention, and I've made it my mission in life to help people succeed in their careers. And one of the ways that I do that is by offering these free live office hours on Thursdays on my YouTube channel. So welcome. Love having you here. I love seeing the chat rolling in my peripheral vision. I don't look at it when I'm trying to teach because it's entirely too distractions. You guys are always cracking me up, but we've got a fun one today. Also, I always come bearing gifts. So a little housekeeping item before we get into the lesson. In the description are some downloads, webinars, all free stuff to help you with your job searching. There's also my Tips for Work and Life blog, the link to that, the link to the Mile Walk Academy, which is my training site, and also in the description, links to all of my entire social platform. So wherever you want to have the conversation, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, connect up with me. I'm happy to have the conversation wherever you are. So I love doing it. I love seeing you all over the place, and I love sharing the message and communicating with you. So link up with me. Make sure to subscribe to this channel if you haven't, because I don't want you to miss these sessions. All right, let's talk about LinkedIn. LinkedIn is one complicated system. It really is. I don't know about you. The folks that I coach in the Mile Walk Academy seem to be as confused as the other 500 million people on the site, and with good reason. They're constantly going through changes. They're changing the things that they offer. They're changing the things that you can do. They're changing the way people are finding you, how you're getting connected, all that good stuff. Now, one of the things I want to do today, a little story, just to put some things in perspective for you, because I want you to understand how important today's lesson is. Back in 2004, I started Mile Walk. For those of you that know me, I came from the recruitment side of the world. Mile Walk is my executive search firm that I founded in 2004. We help organizations recruit talented resources. So it's the business services side of what I do. The Mile Walk Academy is my training site and my training firm. That's where a lot of you have probably found me. Now, when I started Mile Walk in 2004, LinkedIn was actually just getting started. I think LinkedIn was an idea in 2002. I think they might have incorporated in 2003. They really got going in 2004. So through the life of Mile Walk and all the recruitment that I've been doing, LinkedIn has been a very big part of my success and my team's success in helping locate people, developing relationships, connecting, and all that good stuff. And now it's a huge part of sharing my message. So I've been constantly working with it every day. I've been watching it evolve. I've been trying to stay up to date on all the features and all the good stuff that it offers. Also, along those 14 years, as I was recruiting people, I've interviewed an awful lot of people. I think all told, it's about 15,000 people I and my company, Mile Walk, have interviewed. I've personally interviewed 12,000 people, and of the people that we have data for, which is more than 12,000 people, we ask them questions, we collect data. I'm always looking for trends. Not only am I looking to evaluate and help match great people with great companies, but I'm also looking and taking that opportunity to gather data so I understand the trends in the market and what's happening. And one question that I've asked all of those people, that's on the phone or in person, so this is not via a survey, is how did you get to your current job? So what was the medium that you used? Were you an employee referral? Did you apply on a website? Did a third-party recruiter call you? Whatever it might be, I'm always looking for what was the tactic, and then how did you get there? And then the previous job, how did you get there? So I'm looking to accumulate this data for those 12,000 plus people. Well over 900 of them, almost 1,000, 960, 980, something like that, said, someone found me on LinkedIn. What that means is the CEO of a small company, a corporate recruiter, a hiring official, third-party recruiter, somebody like that reached out and said, would you be interested in talking to me? We're hiring, or would you be interested in an opportunity we have at our company? Whatever it is, they were found. They were found and they actually took the job. That's 8%. 8% of the people that I've collected data for got their job because somebody found them on LinkedIn. Wrap your mind around that. I think it was January, middle of January, I did a live office hours session. It was called Why Your Job Search is Taking So Long. In that session, if you haven't seen it, check it out. In that session, I talked about you have an 8% chance of being found on LinkedIn and getting your job that way. And that's great. Who wouldn't want those 8 points? That's what we want to work on with you today. But I want to put that in perspective. In that same live office hours session, I also mentioned that of all the applicant tracking systems out there in the companies across the world and all the people putting their resumes into those applicant tracking systems, you have a 97% chance of never being seen by a human. That means you have a 3% chance of actually being seen. Just 3. That's not even being hired. That's just being seen. Imagine, wouldn't you want to add those 8 percentage points, which is well more than 3 times the percentage of people getting their jobs through the applicant tracking system? And I understand there's demographics that come into play, but we interview a lot of different people across industries, across company types, across functions, and across salary levels. So we catch a lot of the market in that data that I'm speaking about. So I want you to understand that's why this is so important for you to know how this works. So that's the first thing that I want to say. Second thing is let's dive into LinkedIn and how it works. And so I just want you to understand, before we talk about the steps, what is it in the way that LinkedIn operates that you need to understand so you can have perspective about why you're taking the steps I'm recommending. The first thing is, and by the way, this is not my opinion. This is actually research I've done that you can do. You can go right out to LinkedIn's website, and in the depths somewhere in that kludgy help center of theirs, they've given me information that I'm going to share with you, and I'm going to add my own color to it, but I'm going to tell you specifically what LinkedIn has shared with us. That's you, that's me, so this is not my opinion. There are basically 4 things that LinkedIn wants you to know about how its search engine works. So when I talk about getting noticed on LinkedIn, what I'm talking about is you being found by someone who is looking for employees to hire. And there are many, many reasons people search on LinkedIn. Some are targeting companies, some are salespeople looking to develop relationships because they want to make sales. There's a host of reasons why people search, but for the purposes of our talk today, I'm talking along the lines of you wanting to be found so that you might be discovered for your next career opportunity. So when somebody is searching, LinkedIn is telling us 4 things. No slides today. I got some note cards. Hopefully you can see these. I scratched them really fast. The first thing that LinkedIn tells us is there is no, let me see if you can see this. There is no single rank. So the first thing that LinkedIn wants us to know is there's no single rank. What the heck does that mean? Before I explain that, I'm going to take a sip of water. So what does no single rank mean? Well, what LinkedIn is telling us is that there's no single ranking technique to their search engine. So to help you understand what a single ranking search engine is, let's use an example. If you were to use Google, we all are familiar with Google, I hope. When you go and use Google, if you typed in the Google search bar, and I watch some of you are going to go out there and type this right in, and hopefully I won't embarrass myself. But if you go out to Google and you type 22, the number 22, space, year, space, old, 22-year-old. If you put that in Google right now, from wherever it is that you're watching me, no matter how much or how little you've used Google, what you've searched for, what you've purchased, what you do, where you live makes no difference. On the first page, there's going to come up an article that says 34 things every 22-year-old should know. I know that because I wrote the article in 2013, and for a number of years, it was the number 1 item in Google's return search of 22-year-old. I'm guessing it's somewhere on the first page right now. But all of us, whoever we are, wherever we are, if we type that in there, we're all going to get the same search results fed back to us in the same sequence. So that's a single search rank. It doesn't matter who the searcher is. It matters what the results of the internet are and the traffic on the article. There's probably some search engine optimization that plays a part, but for the most part, Google is delivering back to the entire world the most trafficked sites for a particular search. That's a single rank, uniform. LinkedIn doesn't work that way, and it wants you to know that. It says it actually isn't a single ranking. It's actually based on the searcher. It's based on the searcher. So what that means is it doesn't matter what your profile looks like. It's more dependent on what the searcher is doing, who the searcher is, where the searcher lives, the searcher's behavioral patterns on LinkedIn, what they do, what they don't do, if they search, if they don't search, who they're connected to, all that good stuff. So when you think about the searcher and LinkedIn tailoring its search ranking and results to the searcher, it's more dependent on the searcher. So if I go in, Andy LaCivita, go into my LinkedIn account and I go to search for somebody with project management skills and I type project management in the search bar, a woman is going to come up and her title is going to say project manager in her headline. And then she's going to say, I worked here and I worked here. And that's it. And she's not going to have anything else on her profile. And she's going to be my number one returned search person. Why? Because I worked with her at some company. Because I'm connected to her first degree. Because her email address is in my email phone book that's probably linked up with LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is saying, oh, you must want to find people who are closely related to you or that you've worked with or whatever. So I'm going to deliver you those people because I'm assuming that it's all about the relationship, the connection, and so forth. Now you might be thinking, well, there's nothing I can do about who the searcher is. If I want to get over to company XYZ and I have no relationship with that searcher. Well, that may be true for most people, but you're with me, you have me, and there's never a situation where you can't do something about it. And I'm going to get to that in a minute or two, but I want you to know that's a second important point that LinkedIn is telling us. It is based on the searcher. Third thing that LinkedIn tells us, now it's getting a little more Google-like. Profile views matter. Profile views matter. Okay, so what that means is how much traffic your profile gets is going to have something to do with where they place it in the search results when somebody is looking for a system engineer, a business analyst, an accountant, or whatever. So that matters. Your profile views matter. So from that perspective, it is like Google, where the more traffic you're getting, the more attractive LinkedIn thinks you'll be to the person who's searching. So that's the third thing LinkedIn tells us. And the fourth thing LinkedIn tells us is it's about keywords. It's about keywords, not keyword stuffing. We want your keywords to make sense, LinkedIn says. Are those keywords associated to those titles? Have you put in just a bunch of stuff? If you do that, you're going to make me dizzy and I'm not going to like you and I'm not going to show you in the search results. So those four things LinkedIn has told us. They've told everybody. So there's no single ranking. It's based on the searcher and the searcher, who the searcher is and the searcher's behavior. It's based on your profile views and it's based on keywords. Okay, so that's important for you to understand. Now, if we talk about, okay, well, that's all great and good. That's how it works. What is it that you can do to actually elevate elevate where you're going to be seen in the searches when somebody is looking for somebody with your skill set, your talent in your area, or wherever that might be? Now, I break down these suggestions I'm about to give you into maybe two forms. One I like to call the static side, and one is the dynamic side. So the static side is kind of like do it, build it up, and you can kind of leave it, more or less. And the dynamic side is, well, there's some activity that you need to do on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, whatever, however frequently you want to do it, that I think is also going to give you a competitive advantage from a findability perspective. So let's get into that. All right, so what are those? What can you do? First thing, this you've been told. Update your profile. Now, it may sound obvious, but there's a whole lot to that profile that you need to understand and how to fill it in. So when I say update your profile and complete your profile, what I'm talking about is don't be chintzy. Make sure the picture looks good. Make sure you got a nice headline. Make sure you're including important stuff in the summary. Do not blow off the summary. Fill in all the companies that you've worked for. Fill in your volunteer work. Fill in your awards. Fill in everything you possibly can, because the more data that you give LinkedIn, the better off you'll be. The better off you'll be. It will make associations for you if you worked at a company 10 years ago and you lost touch with your favorite buddy over at that company. LinkedIn might make suggestions. It'll do a number of things to help you if you feed it the right data. So the first thing you want to make sure you do is you fill in that profile. Second thing is a big honking deal, skills. Okay, skills. Skills are one of the most popular searches by recruiters. So when recruiters and HR people are looking to find individuals on LinkedIn, they used skill set searches. So they go into the search bar and they type project manager, technology project manager, SAP, Oracle, or something of that nature. Particular skills, maybe they're looking for an accountant, they'll type in the particular domain expertise, core competencies, and other things like that. So when you're talking about skills, some skills are synonymous with their titles, project manager, project management office, those kinds of things. You want to make sure those skills are embodied in the descriptions as you cite the companies that you work for. The other thing is LinkedIn also gives you a way to select discrete skills in your profile. So you can select project management office, so on and so forth, CRM, Oracle applications, whatever it is, cost-based accounting, all those good things, leadership, things of that nature. That's what I'm talking about. So skills are a big honking deal. Skills are a big honking deal. What's next? Connections. I got to read my own stuff. Connections. The site's about connecting, right? So the way in which you leverage those connections is going to be important from a dynamic nature. And I suppose it's dynamic in the sense that you've got to build those connections. But the important thing is build those connections, develop those relationships, request to connect with people. The more, the better. So let's not get into a philosophical debate about whether you should be an open networker or not. For job searching purposes, the more people you are connected to, the better it will be for you. It's just a simple fact. The only thing that's better than having more connections is having the right connection. If I only have one connection on my LinkedIn profile and I'm only connected to one person, but it's my CEO friend who I want to go work for, well, then I'm in Fat City. But if you don't have a lot of CEO friends laying around and you're not really sure how you're going to get into a particular organization that you should be targeting, why not connect up with the people at that organization? So it's one thing to try to reach into a recruiter and say, well, I want to connect up with the IC you're searching for this particular position. But wouldn't it be better, or wouldn't it be helpful at least, to identify people in that organization and start connecting with them? Reach over to kind of your analogous counterparts. If you're a technologist or you're an engineer and there's other engineers at the company, send him or her a message and say, hey, I liked your profile. I see we're in the same industry or the same market or the same technology or whatever. I'm always looking to build relationships with people who I could learn from and share with. Would you be interested in connecting on LinkedIn? What's wrong with that? Somebody say no? Big deal. You didn't lost anything. But if you can start connecting with people in the organization, if not flat out sending them messages about wanting to work there, but I think building up those connections will certainly help you, because that person is likely connected to the recruiter and she's looking for people and technologists and folks to bring into her organization. And with her searching, the closer in relationship you are to people that she works with, the more she's going to like it and the more probable that you're going to come up in her search. So before, when I said it's based on the searcher and the searcher's patterns, and I said, well, you can't really do anything about it. Heck yes, you can go and start connecting with people in the company. Just be thoughtful about it. Don't be reckless. I'm not, I don't want you to blindly be connecting. You're gonna get tons and tons of rejections. I just be thoughtful. Send a smart, nice message. And I think you'll be, number one, you'll be building your network at a minimum. And number two, you're giving yourself a better chance to be discovered by the recruiters and the people that matter. Okay, number 4, standard titles. Standard titles. Don't be cute. This is not the time to be funny on your LinkedIn profile. When I see stuff like chief janitor, everything, butler for my CEO, it's crap like that. Don't do that. Okay, that's just dumb. Put standard titles out there that are going to be found. So if your company is using goofy titles, forget that. On your LinkedIn profile, make it analogous with what the market will recognize. Remember, this is your LinkedIn profile. It's not your resume. I want you to be consistent between your resume and your LinkedIn profile, but feel free to take some creative license in the way in which you identify your titles, because if the internal title at your company is something that nobody will recognize, don't use it. Convert it to something that's analogous with what the outside world will recognize. So if they call the technologist something goofy, switch it to system engineer, network engineer, whatever it might be that people will recognize. So use standard titles. And number 5 on the static side is there's a tell recruiters option. It's new, tell recruiters. For those of you that are very actively looking, what I would do there is you can update some settings that you have. I think it's like front and center of your profile now, where you can tell recruiters, hey, this is what I'm interested in. These are my skills. These are locations I'd be interested in. Hey, I want to move cities. All that good stuff. LinkedIn has a recruiter platform. It's a pay-for service that allows companies to better manage their activity on LinkedIn, right? They want to appeal. They can sell these large-scale licenses to companies. It's very expensive, but recruiters use them diligently to communicate with people out there, to search and find people out there, to manage the communications between the candidates that they're passive candidates or active candidates that they're trying to recruit. So I think what LinkedIn is doing is they're looking for ways to actually give that recruiter more insight into the people, and you're getting kind of a head start. Another thing that you're doing is, I get a question a lot about, well, I want to move cities, I want to do this. It's a great spot to do that. So let's just recap it real quick. You got the profile. Make sure the profile is filled out. You've got the skills section. Make sure the skills are filled out. You got connections. Make sure you grow them. Okay, make sure you grow them. You got standard job titles. Make sure you do that. And you got the recruiter feature where you can tell them and put some insight about you. So that's pretty cool. So those are my five static suggestions. And let's move on to my dynamic suggestions. Now, one of the big things we talked about was profile views. There is no doubt in my mind that whoever's profile is getting a lot of traction is going to come higher in the search results. So what can you do without spending all day sitting on LinkedIn to get more profile views? Okay, so I've got well, depending on how you want to count, about 4 or 8 suggestions. All right, my first suggestion is share. Sharing is good. So if you see something that you like, an article, even outside on the internet that you read, share it to LinkedIn. If you see something on LinkedIn that you like, share that. You want a status update of your own something, write that, share that. Heck, I got loads of stuff out there for you to share. You can go share my stuff. As a matter of fact, don't just share from LinkedIn. If you're loving this, make sure to give me a thumbs up now and share this while we've still got at least another half an hour or so to go. But sharing is great because people will see that you're sharing. Your connections will see that you're sharing. They might potentially share it. That will cause them to start clicking on your profile. I do it when somebody shares a message that I love. Now, sometimes they're sharing somebody else's message that I love. I will go and look at that person's profile, look at both of their profiles. So sharing is a great way We do, we've got manual sharing that we do, and we've got systematic sharing that we do. The systematic stuff is a much more advanced technique, but pick times throughout the day. Maybe you do this 3 times a day. Maybe it's before you get into work, lunchtime, you make a share, in the evening when you get home, or on the train, or wherever, hopefully not in the car while you're driving. But just share. Sharing is great. So that's the first one. The second thing that I would say, this also falls under sharing, but this is a little bit different. Write your long form posts. So hopefully you know this. Everybody has the ability to go and write what LinkedIn calls a long form post. It's like a little blog post that you can write. You can write anything you want. Put a picture up there, you can put links in there, but LinkedIn is basically giving you a blogging platform. If you go out and write an article, you can share that. You can share it to your groups that you belong to. We're not going to get into groups, but you can share them to the groups. You can share them outside of LinkedIn. You can share them across your social platforms. It's great stuff, and it's hugely, hugely awesome. Not just for anybody who wants to become a subject matter expert and show their prowess in their particular trade, but if you are a college student, or you are a recent college graduate, or you are a career changer, this is a great technique to start building collateral about how you're knowledgeable on a particular subject. So think about this. If you go and you write an article and it takes you a half an hour and you post it today, and then next week you go write another one, you'll have 4 after a month, or you have 8 after 2 months, and you start circulating that. You can circulate one today, you write one next week, you can circulate the same one you circulated today, you can circulate that all next week, and you can circulate your new article all next week. You can do one in the morning, one in the evening, and so forth. Now you can start getting more traffic. But what it does is when somebody actually lands on your profile, or if you send me a resume, I'm going to go look at your profile, and I pull it up, I'm going to notice that, oh, wow, that person has written a number of articles on their subject. Maybe it's an opinion piece, maybe it's an editorial, maybe it's just a how-to article. But I'm going to look at that, I'm going to take note. I'm not going to read the articles, not usually, just for time's sake, but I'm going to get the sense that you've got some credibility. You've got some street cred in your area. And no one can prevent you from doing that. And that stuff sits on your LinkedIn profile. That's part of beautifying your profile. So we weren't really going to get into that. But the fact of the matter is that when I land on your profile, I can go and I can see that you have all those articles. And that, number one, that's telling me that you're knowledgeable. Number two, it's telling me you're taking the time and the initiative. So if you are a career changer, it is one great way. Research up on where you want to go. Start writing about it. Don't worry. You'll be knowledgeable enough. There's plenty of books and plenty of research that are out there. And if you can at least do that, then you don't want that career change bad enough. If you're a college student and you're on your way and you're trying to build up and you're trying to get out of school and you're trying to get that first job, you can start writing those one a month for a year. Think about that. Think about what your profile is going to look like. Think about that. That's a big honking deal. So write. So make sure you're right. On the next one. Hey, I don't know if you guys can see this. Can you see this? Like and comment. Liking is good too. Commenting is good too. So whenever you like something or whenever you comment, in my feed, it says, Kara liked so-and-so's article. Kara commented on so-and-so's article. So what? That's great. Now you're putting yourself into circulation even more into the feed, and you're also increasing the likelihood that you will get found, people will view your profile because you are liking and commenting. It's the same kind of thing. It's almost like an automatic share. But I would still share it anyway. So liking and commenting, and then the last one is respond. Respond to your notifications. Respond to your notifications. So if you're sending stuff out and you're sending articles out, and you guys have probably seen hopefully you've seen my LinkedIn feed. And so every hour or two, there's a new article or a quote card or something that I will circulate because I'm constantly putting things out there because I want you to learn. but people will comment and people will like stuff, and that will give me notifications, and it will also alert me that, oh, so-and-so commented, I want to make sure I comment back. And you can adjust your settings in LinkedIn to get emails and all kinds of stuff. But the point is, if you're responding, the more action you have going, the better off you'll be. All right, so let's just recap the dynamic stuff. You want to share, make sure to share. The stuff you want to do is you want to make sure that you're writing the long form stuff. Make sure to do that. You want to like and comment, and I'm not very good with these cards. And you want to respond, So I hope you enjoyed that. But you can see that it isn't just about putting up a good profile and filling it all in. People are telling you to do that. That's not true. You can put a beautiful profile together and no one will ever see it unless you get in the right connections, you get in the profile views, right? Your keywords are optimized, the thing's completely filled in, you start getting some activity going on that profile. So I hope you enjoyed that. Couple of housekeeping things. Before we roll into questions, I want to tell you a couple things that I just want you to keep an eye out for. Now, if you are out there and you are listening to this on any of the podcast platforms, I'm going to say so long to you and have a great week, and I'll see you next Thursday. For everybody else, I've got some exciting news. I am re-releasing Interview Intervention in about 6 or 7 weeks. The new book is going to come out. New cover, new stuff, new look, new feel, all that great stuff. And I'm going to be giving away hardbounds and a whole bunch of other stuff. I'm actually looking for a couple of hundred people who want to be on my marketing team. We're going to create a Facebook group where I want to get your feedback. I want you to help me circulate the messages about the book out into the world. I'm going to send everybody in that Facebook group. Not only am I going to send you free books anywhere in the world, and you don't even have to pay the shipping, zero cost to you. I'm going to give you free coaching inside the Facebook group. I'm going to give you coaching on job searching and interviewing and all that good stuff just for helping me out. But it's limited because of the budgets. It's limited to a couple hundred people. I'll be sending out an email and notifying everybody who's on my subscription list. So if you're interested, you got to make sure to reply quickly and let us know. We'll get you added to the group. It's going to be a ton of fun. I am super, super stoked about this. All right, if you're loving it, give me a thumbs up, give me a like, give me a share. Let's go to the chat. I see it has been rolling and rocking. Who's here? Roop, I said hey to you and Ken and Creative Mischief and Ingrid and John and Jennifer and David. Hey, David, my wife and I just got back from a short trip from Florida. Evan's here. Baby Turtle. Don from Ohio. Halogenic is here. Good to see you guys. Love having you. Let me see. Make sure if you are giving me questions, you are putting the question mark in front of the question so that I know to stop as I'm scrolling through here. Baby Turtle, looks like you have a question. Okay. So Baby Turtle's asking, got an in-person interview with the hiring manager from a recruiting agency. How to answer if the hiring manager asks for salary at the interview. So assuming this is a first interview and assuming that you have not yet given your salary to anybody at the recruiting agency, one of the things that I always recommend is you defer providing. It's okay if it's legal in your state or your country or wherever you're from, if it's legal for them to ask you what your current salary is, then I would just say provide that. And in some states in the United States, it's illegal for them to ask that, so then you don't need to provide that. But if they ask you a question about your expected salary, anticipated salary, desired salary, or anything of that nature, you never, ever, ever, ever want to give them a number at that moment, because you never want to negotiate or provide any insight until your stock is the very highest. That's the first thing. Second thing is you have no idea what your expected salary is because you have no idea what the company actually offers, because there's salaries are complicated, and you shouldn't just be looking at the salary. You should be looking at the entire offering from the organization. And the offering includes what I get to do, who I get to do it with, what I'm going to learn. Are they paying for training? What's their health care plan or benefits program, or who knows, maybe they're next door to your house. There's many things that are important to you, and the money part is only one of them. So let's be realistic. I'm willing to take less money if I've got a lot of these other things that are important to me, or if I'm having to trade out some of these other things, I might want more money. So you never want to get into that discussion. And most employers, and the good ones, will be okay with that answer. So just say I'm open to a fair offer. I would really like to learn more about the organization and what it has to offer, and I also want to make sure that I can show you my value in the interview process. And I'm sure if we're right for each other, you'll make a fair offer, and we'll be able to come to something agreeable. You just want to defer it all the way to the end. So that's what that would be my suggestion. And I do have a video out there on negotiation if you want to go look at that, how to negotiate your salary after your job offer. It's out there. So good luck with that. Donald, great to see you from Trenton. Tristan is here. Great to see you. Dan Gomez. All right, Ingrid. How frequently should the LinkedIn page be updated? So Ingrid, I'm assuming you're asking about your profile. That's what I'm assuming you're asking. How frequently should you update your profile? And my answer would be when you have an update. So if you are in job search mode, I would spend, one major time, hour, a day, whatever it's going to be, and I would get everything in order. I would try to get it as complete as possible because I don't want to keep tinkering with it. And there's a setting, whether you want to alert your connections or not, is to when you make updates, you can do that or not. If you're job searching and you're actively job searching and you're in between jobs, there's nothing wrong with letting everybody know that you're updating your LinkedIn profile. If you're working for a company that you want to get out of, I wouldn't necessarily keep that alert on, because people at your company are probably going to see that you keep updating your profile. So it's not really about the frequency. I would just update it once, or at least try to get it all in one fell swoop, and then I would move on, and I would spend more time with the active stuff, with writing, sharing, and all that other good stuff. Julio. Hey, Julio. Actually, Julio, I think you're the Julio I emailed earlier. Hopefully you got that. I think you are. Hopefully, from Amsterdam. Hopefully you got my email. All right. Freda from Boise, Idaho. Emilia LaCivita's here. Great to see you, Mom. Hope everything's going good in the house. Baby Turtle. All right. If I not get a job offer, can you call or email the HR or hiring manager for feedback? Yes. Anytime a company does not want to move forward with you, a classy organization will give you the insight as to why. It's in my opinion, extremely rude for somebody to just stop the interview process with you without sharing why. It's also, in my opinion, rude for them to go silent on you or to have long delays unless they have managed your expectations clearly and explicitly said it will be such and such an amount of time before we get back to you. But if you don't get a job offer, heck yes, ask. Okay. Fawn interviewed with a company about 3 years ago and rejected their job offer. Now they have a different job, and I will be interviewing with them tomorrow. Should I mention the previous job offer? That depends. And I'm guessing you know what that depends on, but I'm going to tell you anyway. Why did you not accept the offer previously? Since I don't know why you didn't, you might not have been ready to leave. It could be any scenario. You could be at a company and you got cold feet and you just didn't want to go. It could be that you thought that they didn't give you a fair offer or it wasn't enough money. It could be a million reasons. You didn't like who was going to be your boss or whatever. You are going to have to determine what that reason was. See, the great thing about the fact that they gave you a job offer is they liked you. So that's cool. If the reason you couldn't take it was super solid and no one's going to misconstrue and no one's going to care and they're going to think, hey, this is great. We wanted to hire Fawn before this. There's no reason we shouldn't want to hire Fawn now. Then that's cool. But if you did something like, you were making $100,000 and they gave you a $150,000 offer and you didn't think it was enough, you got to be careful about bringing this stuff up. So since I don't know that, I'm going to leave that to your judgment, but that's a little bit of insight on that. All right, creative mischief. A company has a position posted online and applied for the job online. Okay. After some research, managed to identify the person who was responsible for hiring, managed to add him on my LinkedIn network. Awesome. What's the question? Drop to the bottom. Let me know what the question is. All right. Evan Vargas. What's the difference between a resume and CV, and when should each be used appropriately? So that is a great question. And by the way, I've got some really nice comments or requests on my YouTube channel about doing a video on CVs, because I have a video on how to build the ultimate professional resume. Most of the people in this world require a resume, not a CV. A CV, I'm just going to give you some general guidelines. A resume is typically used in a commercial fashion, commercial industries, and things of that nature. CVs are generally reserved for academic institutions, the medical profession, the psychological, mental health care profession, legal profession. Those professions where articles, publications, extensive education are highly valued and necessary for you to progress, are generally better suited for a CV. And a CV can be longer than a resume. I have a rule. It ain't my rule, folks. It is my opinion, but it is an opinion that is, I would say, agreed upon by many of the recruitment experts out there. A 2-page resume is plenty in the commercial industry. No more. Anything more, people generally don't review. But in the academic profession, in the research profession, and some of those others I mentioned, a longer CV is appropriate because they're going to look through your articles. They're going to probably want to read some of the articles that you've written, or publications that you have, or books you've published, or whatever, research you've done, the research projects and those kind of things go into a CV. So that's the difference. So Evan, depending on your profession, you pick one or the other. All right. Hey, Missy. Missy's here. Missy's a boot camper. Folks, by the way, if you're loving the instruction, get into boot camp, because we go way deeper. The boot camp's like 14 hours with me, going through in great detail everything you need to know about job searching, and Missy is in there with me, and I love her. Okay. Why do some ATS systems have you completely redo your resume after you uploaded them, and should you take the time to completely reformat? Ugh. Okay. So some applicant tracking systems are very good indexers of your resume. So they can take a resume, they have a scanning, not like a fax scan, but like literally it scans and parses the information in it, and then it populates a lot of those boxes that you need to fill in for those applicant tracking systems that aren't nearly as sophisticated. And what happens is those applicant tracking systems that are a little bit more robust and effective at that can then take all the information in your resume and index it so that when somebody wants to go into the applicant tracking system and search for somebody who has cost-based accounting experience, they can find it. Some applicant tracking systems, the ones that are less sophisticated, are not that great at doing that, and a lot of times they have boxes for you to fill in. So it says, okay, what was your most recent job? Then it says, all right, fill in your duties there. And what you end up doing, which is a pain in the butt, is you cut out of your resume and then you put it in the box. And you cut out the resume and you put it in the box. So that's why it's limitations of the system that the company is using, generally speaking. But the newer ones, they usually can, you usually just attach your resume. When somebody sends me a resume, just to let you know, and we use a Canadian-based system that has not been upgraded for a long time. They were bought by another company. When you send me a resume in an email, I click a button in my email, and it loads it into the applicant tracking system, and it indexes everything for me so that when I go into our system, our staffing and CRM system for the recruitment business, it has all that. So it makes life a lot easier for people to just simply attach their resume. But that's why. All right. Hey, Brady's with us, and Mark Peckney is here from St. Louis. Buddy, Mark Peckney just graduated from the boot camp. I hope I can say this, buddy, and got 87 times the return for his investment. Folks, this stuff works. But I'm glad you're here, buddy, because now you can start updating your LinkedIn profile with your new job. All right. Ingrid is telling me I'm frozen. I hope I'm not. Kara, can you give me a hidey hi and let me know that I'm still talking? All right. Rox is here. Michael Matista from New Jersey. Creative Mischief has a question. I think this was from your message before. So, should you message the boss that you were able to connect with on LinkedIn about the job? That depends. You want to be careful. You want to be careful because you don't want to try to come at these people from too many directions. If you got your resume in and the recruiter or the HR person or some administrator or coordinator is interacting with you, then I don't think there's any reason to contact the boss at this moment. Just get in and get moving. If there's no movement, meaning you've put your resume in, you haven't been notified, they haven't gotten in touch with you, you haven't gotten a bong letter or anything of that nature, then I would contact him and say, hey, I wanted to reach out. I'm really interested in this position you're recruiting for. I'd love to get connected. Is there anything you can share with me about the position? Whatever you want. But I'm all about being active, but being smart, not stalking them. But if they're not getting in touch with you, chances are they haven't seen it. 97% chance you haven't been noticed. And so, sure, definitely go ahead. We had one, actually, I can't remember who did this. It was a great story. Somebody last week, I don't know if it was Baby Turtle or whoever, somebody with one of those funny names, said that they submitted their resume, immediately got a bong letter, and then found somebody at the company, sent the resume in, then got an interview. So, the point is, sometimes when you get those bong letters, those immediate bong letters that are automated, and you can tell they're automated, they never saw your resume. The applicant tracking system has an algorithm that says, well, that person was only a 72% match and we need 85 or above or something based on keywords, blah, 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 automatically send him a bong letter. No one ever saw it. But then he somehow got his resume in front of somebody, and that person liked the resume and invited him in for an interview. And I'm not sure if I got the name right, but the story is right, and that's something you should know. Leslie, hey there. Not for me. Okay, so Ingrid, maybe that was Ingrid. All looks well. Okay, Deborah Wilburn. Deborah Wilburn is new, and we are happy to have you. Happy to have you. Actually, it looks like you do have a question in here, Deborah, so let's take a look. Hi, I'm new here. Your videos are very helpful. I'm so glad you enjoy them. It seems like the summary is super important, but not sure mine is strong. How general or specific should you be? Should it be focused on keywords? So the first thing, folks, is and Deborah, this is a great question. So a couple things you got to understand about the resume, and I don't want to go too long because I want to kind of stay on this point. But I think there's some context you need to understand about a resume. I think some of you are writing your resume for a computer, meaning you're trying to match keywords, you're trying to make it look like the job description, and so on. Write your resume for a human being first, okay? And I have a template out there that I recommend. It has a career profile at the top, then career highlights, and then your professional work experience, then your education, and you can play around with the bottom and such. And you can use different tools to determine if you are getting enough power with the keywords and the matches. That's something that you can do after the fact. With your career profile and your highlights, the reason that those are so important is you get to control the narrative of the story that you're telling the reviewer. So as an example, if I open up the resume and it has your name and then it goes right into, I'm working at company ABC. What I have to do then is I have to go and look, and then I got to go to the next one and the next one and the next one, and then I have to assemble your story for you in my head. So what is this person about? Is this a senior accountant? Is it a CFO? Is it an engineer, a salesperson, whatever? And I have to formulate the narrative and the story. You are now leaving me to my own devices, and you've only given me a list of your work experience. That's not good. You need to make sure that not only are you screaming up at the top and you're catching the person's attention, but you're dictating the narrative and what you want me to understand about you. And the wonderful thing about the career profile and the career highlights is you get to put whatever you want up there. So a lot of people say, well, geez, I worked 10 or 15 years in financial services, and I've worked the last 7 years in healthcare, but I want to get back to financial services, but people are turned off because my healthcare stuff comes. Well, in their profile, say, I'm a 15-year financial services professional with an additional work in healthcare or whatever, spent 15 of my 22 years in the financial services sector, and you can start listing your highlights that are more financial services centric. Now I'm starting to get, this is a financial services person, he's got some great accomplishments, and so on. And then I can get into the body, and that's okay. You've been spending some time lately in healthcare or whatever, but you're controlling the narrative. That's why that stuff is so important. And you get to aggregate your work experience, which is a way to show the vastness of your accomplishments. So the career profile should be a summary. And by the way, Deborah, I did a live office hours on just the career profile. So check it out, because I show you the ingredients to go in there. And I know I mentioned my boot camp a couple times, but one of the things we do in the boot camp is I literally write the career profile and give you the fill in the blanks. Put this here, put that there, put that there, put that there. And I give you the exact sentences to write and how to phrase it all. And then you just drop in your stuff. It's totally cool. And if you're wondering about how to get in the boot camp, there's a link in the job description. It's in there. It's my signature course. It's so fun. We've got some live sessions coming up in the middle of March. But they're on-demand version. The recordings of all the previous versions are all there. Everything's ready for you to go. It's an all-access pass to the Mile Walk Academy. We are having a ton of fun. It is great. I've been running it since December. We've gone through 2 rounds of it. March is going to be our 3rd round. It's a load of fun, and people are getting a lot of great results. So I hope that helps. All right, Panos. Hey, Edwina. Hi from Europe. Alfredo Blumenthal. How you doing, buddy? How are you? I'm addicted to your webcast. Good stuff. I need to talk to you one-on-one. I have one-on-one coaching too. So get in touch with me. Wesley Miles, great to see you from Milwaukee. Ingrid, got it figured out. Mark, hi. Mark is, can I just hang out here for a second? Highly recommends Andy's Bootcamp. 87 times returns. Folks, I couldn't make this stuff up if I tried. It works. Now, Mark and I are going to work on that testimonial. So, hey, Joan, good to see you. Mohammed, great to see you. Just updating your LinkedIn profile. Love it. All right, Leslie. I recently saw someone's LinkedIn. I recently saw someone's LinkedIn say, I am searching for a position or internship as their headline. Andy, please weigh in on that. You know what, Leslie? That's a great question. I get it a lot. This is personal preference, and by the way, this is probably split 50-50. If you ask 50 trainers, 25 of them will say don't do it, 25 of them will say do it. Here's what I'm going to say. I don't love that as a headline. I really don't. I want to see your value as your headline. What do you offer? I'd rather your headline be the elevator pitch that I did 2 weeks ago. 2 Thursdays ago, I did how to write your 1-sentence elevator pitch. Go watch that, write that, put that on your LinkedIn profile, because you're giving LinkedIn as your headline Keywords that are actually valuable. If you write, I'm searching for a position, I don't know if that was their headline. If you just wasted your headline. You just wasted it. And so what I'd rather you do, if you want to be upfront and honest about that, put it in the Tell Recruiter comments, or if you want to make it your first job, that's okay, that you are currently working or whatever your most current job. But I'm a fan of taking advantage of all the things that you possibly can. So I don't like wasting that prime real estate to tell people that you're looking for a job. I just don't. So hopefully that helps. Michael Matista. Yes. Okay, great question. Any advice for someone in their mid to late 40s interviewing with hiring managers in their mid to late 30s? And Michael, there's no reason we can't include people in their 50s and people in their 60s and people in their 70s, because I have it all. We've got it all in my programs and on my YouTube channel. Anybody who is, let's say, on the north side of 40, don't worry, you got a ton left in the tank. I've got videos out there on age discrimination. I've got videos out there on interviewing for executive positions and that kind of stuff. The first thing I would do is I'd recommend you go look at the age discrimination video. Not that you're necessarily being discriminated against, but in the age discrimination video, I highlight the tactics and of the issues you need to overcome. The age discrimination issue isn't about you being old. It's about the stereotype that comes along with people who are later in their career, that the tactics that they're using are not current, that their desire and their energy is not there. Okay, those kind of things. You're not up for learning new things. So when you get into these interviews, people in their 30s, or if people in their 40s, if you're in your 50s and so on, they want to make sure that the biases that they have, that you're putting them at ease. You got to talk about current trends. You got to talk about wanting to learn new stuff. Your energy's got to be high. All that good stuff needs to be there. But my answer, that age discrimination video, those are the tactics that I would actually use to answer your question about the 40s interviewing with the 30s, for sure. Hey, Paul, good to see you. Paul, hopefully you got my email last week, maybe the week before, or no, last week. Wesley Miles, he started nothing showing up? Okay, well, I'm here. Yes, refresh. Hey, Andrew, Florin from Romania, 2 questions. I'm not sure where they are. I'm assuming they're somewhere. Greg, so you are saying that a LinkedIn find by hiring a person is triggered by that person sending an in-system message directly. Okay. Wait. Greg, let me reread that and then clarify what I think you're asking, and then I'll answer what I think you're asking. So Greg is asking. He says, so you're saying that a LinkedIn find by hiring a person is triggered by that person sending an in-system message directly to a person? Yes. Okay. So I think, and I don't know when you put that in, or if you were referring to when I said, when I interviewed all those people and I asked them how they got their job and they said someone on LinkedIn contacted me, that is what I meant. So they sent them an in-mail or an inbox message or something of that nature. In today's world, not always at LinkedIn, but in today's world, they have business programs, they have LinkedIn Recruiter, they have a lot of these different vehicles where recruiters can inbox you at will. They can inbox anybody they want, regardless of the chain of the connections. It doesn't matter if you're 2, 3, 4 degrees away. They can get at anybody. So that's what I meant. So to clarify, I think that's what you were asking. Sam, I was heavy in discussion here at Helicopter Association International Conference, Las Vegas. Sam, I remember you. Good to have you back. Paul, so it's best to start a LinkedIn. I've heard it's really good. Paul, get on it. Get on it now. All right, Tristan, that's TLEIBU. For those of you who don't know Tristan, I had a job interview via video chat platform, Skype and Zoom, which went well as I got a job offer. Yes, Let's give Tristan a shout out. Is there anything in those types of interviews that you think are important to be aware of? So, are you asking about video? So a lot of these video, it's kind of like what we're doing, except that I can see you and you can see me. I think it's very important in the video interviews. If I'm preparing for an interview, I would literally, I'm not kidding you. And by the way, I'm going to have to shoot a video on this or do a session on this because I'm getting so many questions about video interviews because obviously it's a good and efficient way to do things, especially if people are traveling a lot or people's schedules are hectic. You got to get used to talking to the camera, to your little eye on your MacBook or whatever you're using. And what you want to make sure of is that you're comfortable talking into the camera, not looking at the screen and talking like this. People want to feel engaged. So that's one thing you need to do. You need to be prepared so you can have your notes and all that good stuff. Dress well. Literally dress like you put the tie on and do all that good stuff, but have all of that in order. And I don't treat it any differently than as if the person was sitting across from me. That's the beauty of it. If you can do that, do you have any idea how effective your presentation and your communication skills look? Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. But literally, say a few lines, get talking to the camera. Talk to the wall, do whatever you got to do. But you got to get comfortable with it. One of the reasons that I love to do these live sessions is because, talking to a camera and shooting a video is great, but I love talking to you. I love hearing from you. I love the energy. This is so much easier, believe it or not. And while, yes, it takes time to set the lights up and do all this stuff, and I'm shooting longer videos, we've been on this an hour, whatever, this is way better because you're getting better insight. I'm getting to know you. You all out there are making me a better coach because this kind of dialogue does not happen when I shoot a video. So when you're in a video chat, I had to practice this. So for Tristan and all these folks out here, all you guys doing these video things, you got to get out there and you practice, and you got to get it to the point where in your heart that you are not talking to a camera, you are talking to people. You are talking to people. And trust me, employers will love that. Even kind of flub up some of your answers. But the fact that you're just so good and dynamic at it, and you feel like a natural, or they feel like you're a natural at it, they'll love it. Believe me. All right. Biggest, I have 7 job offers, face-to-face, booth-to-booth encounters. Love how the elevator pitch works. Sam, thanks for the shout out. I mentioned that a little earlier. Folks, if you have not seen how to build your 1-sentence elevator pitch, check it out. Sam caught it just in time as he was going to a conference or an event, and I love it. Danielle McCaffrey, hi from California. That, for those of you that do not know, is my sister Danielle. That's Danielle LaCivita McCaffrey. So Sister Dan is in the house. All right. Ursus. Hi, Andrew. Florin Florin, that's right, from Romania. 2 questions. Oh, there they are. Number 1, for a designer CV, a classic Word CV is enough or should be designed in a creative manner? So, number 1, Florin, I am not a creative, not a lot in the creative field. Here's what I would think is a good way to go. I think make it clean and professional and include your designer portfolio, like your creative portfolio. So you should have a separate portfolio that they can see of your work. And I think the resume that's clean with the portfolio is the magic. I think that combo is the magic. So some of you that are out there, you've got to show your work. If you're an architect, yeah, show your work. If you're a creative person, you got to show your designs. So, or you're a web builder, show the websites that you've built, or whatever, pictures of that stuff. It's great. Attach that with it, just like it's a second resume. So that's my personal preference. But you know what? If you talk to people or experts that are like me in your area or arena, and they say a little differently, they might know better than I do. I do my best to try to cover all the industries, usually pretty good at it, but I'm humble enough to know I don't know everything, so I would maybe seek a second opinion, but that would be my suggestion. And then your second question is number 2, 11 years in the design industry. I write in my CV that I'm a senior. I'm not. Should I continue lying? My LinkedIn is on private for this reason. So when you say you are a senior, I don't know if, I'm assuming you are a senior creative designer. And if you've got 11 years in the design industry, to me, you are a senior creative designer. So the first 3 words I would love to see in your career profile are senior creative designer. That's okay. By the way, senior is not reserved as a title. It is reserved as a descriptor. Okay, does that make sense? So don't say you're a vice president if you're not a vice president. If you are a director, you can say directorial or you can say senior. I hope you follow what I mean. If you're a manager, that's senior. I'm a senior project manager. I'm a senior whatever, so on and so forth. So senior is a loose term to express that you've got some years under your belt. That's the way I would use the term. And then in your resume, where you lay out your company name, then your titles, I would like you to be proper with that. So and by the way, I never want you to lie. Ever, ever, ever. Only bad stuff happens to people who lie, even if it doesn't happen right away. Okay. Brady, just looked it up. Interesting. Brady, I'm assuming you are talking about the 22-year-old article. I hope you enjoyed that. Ken, LinkedIn search is contextual. There you go, buddy. Kyle is in the house. Kyle is a boot camper. Love it. Glad you guys are enjoying this. Kyle, great to have you again, and I'm loving that you're here. Dizzy, GGX. Premium also helps you get on top of the list. That is true if you pay up. If you pay up. That's true. So what Dizzy is saying is LinkedIn's got various levels. It's got free accounts. It's got various paid accounts. If you want to, for a short period of time while you're in your search, you might want to get in on one of those premium accounts. To give you an idea, folks, I pay $19 a month for my LinkedIn program. I don't do a whole, with all the activity that I do on it, I still don't, for me, from a business standpoint, find the value. However, as a job seeker, to be able to send more in-mails and some of these other things that you might want to do, you might want to check out a package that works for you for a short period of time, could be very valuable, right? If you spend a few $100, but it gets you a great job, I'm all for that. All right, here we go. Paul Contreras. Hey, Andy, I just wanted to ask you a quick question. Will there be any promotions for the boot camp in the coming months? I'm interested in joining, but lack a fund. Paul, email me. I try to entice people as we run them. We ran them in December and in January. We're not running specials in February. People are paying $597 and they're not getting resume. I mean, there's other things that were removed. We've got a March 20th. We've got a March 20th live sessions coming up. So March 20th, 22nd, 24th, we're running one on a Saturday. And the next couple, right, it runs within 9 days, the whole boot camp's done. And, you can make the live sessions awesome. If not, that's cool too. You get the recordings. But let's email back and forth and let me see what I can do for you. All right. Folks, if you're loving this, I know it's 4:09 where I am. Give me a shout out. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the thumbs up button. Let me know what you're thinking. And if I don't I'm going to take a couple more questions. If I do not get to your question today, I let this run a few minutes after we're done. YouTube records it automatically, which is another sweet thing about these live sessions. And it goes right on my YouTube channel. It stays public. You can get at this in the live stream section, go into the comments section, and just type your question there. And I answer YouTube comments every day. I actually answer my YouTube comments. I do a little bit every day. Otherwise, I do nothing but sit there and answer all of them, but I get to them. But what I try to do with these live sessions is for people that took the time, that were here, I recognize the names. When I see your comments pop over into the video right away, I try to get to them right away. I try to get to them on Friday or Saturday. So if you got questions, I'd love to answer them for you, but you got to get them into the comments under the video when we're done. Richard Swinson, would this convince you to read on? If not, why not? An instructor who has led activities for over 50,000 guests so that they have an opportunity to develop personally and socially. I love that. I love that that's a ton of guests. I would love if you tightened up specifically, what you did to help them develop personally and socially. So you are helping them build life skills, which I love, enhancing their life skills and their enjoyment of life. But you're doing something. You're leading activities. So what is it that you're leading? What kind of activities? Put that in there. That helps me, and actually you probably don't even need to say so that they have an opportunity to develop personally and socially. I'd rather you just say so they develop personally and socially. You can scratch some of those words out and then trade them out for a few on the front end. But I love that. I think I commented on yours. I think I gave you an elevator pitch the other day, if that was you, because you were the one that talked to me about working on those outdoor. That was you. I'm pretty sure. Okay. All right. Patrick in Boise. Hey, Andrew, thanks for the live session. I started using LinkedIn in January. All right. I wish I started months ago. It's okay. It says, as an engineer and EHS professional, aka technical, can it look too much like a sales ad? I don't know. I mean, I don't know what your profile looks like, but I would get it up and I'd get it running. William Zimmerman, WZ, my friend, something must be going on as Andy isn't filming for anymore. So my buddy WZ always used to make fun of me, which I know he did in good jest, because I used to shoot a lot of these videos in my old home in the corner of my home office. I now have a much different studio setup and library office and all kinds of fun stuff. So no, I'm not in the corner anymore, and I got more furniture coming in 6 to 8 weeks, and we're gonna have a whole different setup. So it's kind of cool, kind of fun. All right, Daniel Thomas, question, how's your friends hoarding? William and Daniel, most of it is film. Okay, he's explaining. Haha, yes, and okay. Mayang Wu, is it appreciate to put in your job title transitioning from military? I've seen this for military personnel who within the first 6 months of leaving the military. I'm okay with that. One thing that I would suggest to you and to all of you others who are veterans of any country, I thank you for your service. I truly mean that. I love it so much, and I value what you did so much that I wrote a whole book for you called How to Transition from Military Veteran to Civilian Professional. Go to my blog, andrewlacivita.com, type in the search bar military veteran, bang, the book will come up. It's free and for you. Okay, Kyle, my man. Why don't we include the LinkedIn link on the resume next to the street address, phone number, city, email, etc.? Go ahead and do that. I have no problem with that. I generally don't like a lot of extra stuff at the top. And as a matter of fact, applicant tracking systems don't like it either. But you can put it there. I don't have a super preference one way or another. It's totally okay with me. All right, Jennifer Matthew. What is the best way to frame the LinkedIn profile content if someone is looking to change career paths? Boom. Home run question. Jennifer, I love it. There are a lot of people out there, and folks, if you are like Jennifer and you are looking to change careers, number one, I applaud you and I encourage you. I changed careers drastically when I was 38. So 14 years ago, I completely took a shift. I highly recommend it. So I'd love for you to give it a go. The one thing that I would do, Jennifer, is first I would check out 2 videos that I have on my YouTube channel about how to change careers. One is shot blog style, and WZ will be happy because I shot it in the corner with my books, and it's about a 10-minute video or something like that. And then I did a live office hours on it, how to change careers successfully. Watch those. There's 7 steps that I go through to make sure you do that effectively. So that'll give you an outline. Okay, very cool stuff. And then on the LinkedIn profile, I would use the summary to highlight the things that you want to highlight toward the career you're moving toward. And if you watch the videos, the how to change careers successfully that I mentioned on my YouTube channel, it's going to give you an idea of what you need to put in the summary and your career profile on your resume. And the other thing, Jennifer, that I would do is I would start writing long forms to get them on my LinkedIn profile, right on the subject that, or the market or the industry that you're moving toward. So that is definitely what I would do. All right, let's see. A couple more here. All right, wait, what? Do you recommend stealing the corner office book? I'm not sure what that is. Unless you're talking about my books over there. By the way, people ask me about that. Can you see that? I've written 3 books. And side note here, I am going to be having a huge promotion on the middle book, which is the white book, which is Interview Intervention. It was my first baby. It's been read by more than 100,000 people, and it's more and more every day are getting it or getting my Interview Intervention course, and it's a real thrill for me. I never can imagine when I sat down to write it that it would lead to this, and I'm buying many thousands of copies and distributing it complimentary in the world as long as you pay shipping anywhere in the world. You can have it for free and a whole bunch of other cool things, goodies, bonuses, and really cool stuff. But I don't know if that was what you were talking about. Transferable skills, Richard, career profile. All right, here's a question. Let me take 3 more. Richard Swinson, career profile, which has more impact? 5 seasons of experience from 2013 to 2017, or 40 months of experience from 2000 and, oh, I see. Because you, actually, I don't even know that I would get into that. I would just say from 2013 to 2017. I don't know that you need to get into all that in the career profile. Myong Wu, is there such a thing as too many connections? I think LinkedIn has a limit at 30,000. I don't know how many I have. I'm nowhere near that. I am connected to a lot of people, and I do know a lot of people, but I would say no. And Brady, I would agree with Brady. No, I would say not. Cute how the likes went up. Hey, all right, listen, folks, come on, give me a like. We love the thumbs up. YouTube loves the thumbs up. It helps reach more people. If you like this, if you don't like it, that's okay. But you know, I'm doing my best here to make job searching fun for you and career development fun for you. So if you're loving that, give me a thumbs up. All right, Leslie. Leslie says, I am over 50 and worked in a great company 25 years ago as an assistant. Should I include it on LinkedIn or drop it for ageism issues? The company is relevant to my search, but I have other great companies too. Leslie, personally, and I'm over 50 as well, I love to see it on there. You know, if you feel after a little while that it's going to lead to ageism, then you can take it off. But you know what? Let's be honest. I mean, 25 years ago is not actually, I mean, this is 51-year-old saying, is not that long ago. And if it is relevant, I would keep it. And, you know, you might be connecting with people who used to work there, even though it was 27. I still connect with people that I worked with from my first company. So, you know, that's my, you know, that's mine. All right, Daniel Thomas. Hi, Andrew. Previous interview for a job in November. I'm assuming that is passed on all candidates due to a reorg. They have reposted the job. Can I personally email my... Yes, go get them. Folks, anytime anything changes for something that you were engaged in earlier, your situation changes, their situation changes, whatever. Assuming that they told you you simply don't have enough experience, we're not interested in you, or you offended somebody, definitely reapply. And actually, I'd definitely send them an email directly. Go get them. All right. Journey success. Sorry. I think my thing hopped here. Sorry, folks. 1 second. Journey success. There we go. What suggestions do you have for someone who's looking to transition to something new, has been a technologist, and wants to transform? I would say, if you're a technologist trying to stay in technology to an executive level position, you're on the same path. If you are trying to make a wholesale, career change, check out the career change videos. All right, let me see if I can grab a couple. Patrick in Boise, what is the importance of having connections endorse my LinkedIn, skills and endorsements and recommendations? So folks, this is a great question, and I'm glad Patrick asked it. It's certainly on topic today. LinkedIn allows you to get endorsements from people on your skills. They just kind of click a button and they say, yes, I endorse you. I don't think that's nearly as powerful as getting somebody to write a recommendation for you. So, be ready to do reciprocal recommendations and things of that nature. But I think that the recommendations carry more weight. I don't know if it carries more weight from a search engine standpoint, but I know when I go and review somebody's LinkedIn profile, I don't even look at the skills section. I look at the profile and what the profile says. I skip over the skills section because that's just 50 skills you picked and a bunch of people who are clicking buttons. And it was really easy for people to... LinkedIn used to feed in its home feed, do you want to endorse so-and-so for such and such? So I'd click a bunch of buttons thinking I was doing a goodwill, but so when I'm looking at them, I'm not really valuing that, but I value the recommendations. All right, yes, please. Oh, Lori Goodwin. Hey, I just want to mention this for those of you who either didn't hear me the first time or just joined. I am building a private couple of 100-person Facebook group. I need to limit it because I have to buy the books for everybody and ship them to everybody, and that starts running up the cost. But for a little bit of help sharing it on social media, I'm going to give you a lot of free stuff. It's really cool. So be on the lookout for that. And if you're on my email list, you'll see an email. It'll say something about, hey, you want to join me for some free coaching, join my marketing team, or something catchy and enticing. So, all right, let me keep going here. Bobby Perry, I just finished a job fair and I have an interview tomorrow. Awesome. This is my first interview and very, very nervous. Don't be. And can you give me a quick recommendation on how I can prep myself? Yes. What I would do is I'm actually not being funny. Go to Amazon or go to iBooks or iTunes or whatever. The Interview Intervention book is like $8 on the Kindle or the iPad or the Nook or whatever. Buy it, read it. And if you need to, because you're jammed up for your interview, skip the first chapter, read chapters 2 through 8, and you can read that before your interview tomorrow, and you will be in great shape. All right, let's see, 999 damage, add me, please. I'm assuming you're talking about the Facebook group. Joan Tucker, is it necessary to get a link to get LinkedIn Premium? I don't think it's necessary, Joan. Vivian is interested. Okay, in the Facebook, I like that. Frida. Oh, man, I love you guys. Here, awesome advice. You're welcome. MWS928. I own small businesses for the last 15 years and have taken owner draws instead of a salary. What is the best way to reference salary ranges published on Glassdoor as a guide for salary? I know how complicated it can be to kind of gauge your earnings as an owner. Owners, we have advantages from a tax perspective. We have other advantages from profit sharing and distributions and other things that we can take that salaried employees don't necessarily have the luxury of doing. So I understand the issue here. It's difficult for me to know because I don't know what your business was, and I don't know. I'm not really sure how to answer that because it's difficult. It would be easier if you were just a contractor and you had an hourly contracting rate. That's a little easier to match back and forth, but I think you need to look at what it is you're doing, who it is you get to work with, and do your best selling yourself to try to get them to give you the best offer. I don't always put a ton of stock in salaries that I see on Glassdoor or some of these other places. And small companies have a lot of freedom. You'd be surprised. So if I had a little more insight there, I could probably give you a little bit better answer, but I hope that helps. All right, Julio. Hey, Julio, I hope you got that email. I'm assuming that's what you were answering yes to. Brady, having just got out of the military and going back to school, how can I use my LinkedIn profile to gain effective internships? Just use the techniques that we talked about today. Go read that military vet guide that I have and try that one. Let me see here a couple. Let me see if I can. Hey guys, Missy. Hector, good to see you. Here's a toughie. Cheryl Ann says, hi, Mr. LaCivita, I'm a police officer. Have been one for 23 years, need to change careers. So first thing, thank you for that. I'm glad you are out and safe. I have a degree in management, I'm assuming, and finishing master's in HR management. How do I phrase my resume? So here's what I would do. So folks, this is a great question. Cheryl Ann, thank you for asking it, and is one that I know affects a lot of you. So the wonderful thing about Cheryl Ann, what you did is you went back to school and you got a couple of degrees in I'm assuming the line of work that you want to get into. You can do a career profile and highlight, as a police officer, what you've learned about, the capabilities that it would take to be a good human resources person. Then put your education below it. So those of you who are making career changes, who are getting degrees or bachelor's or paralegal degrees, whatever it might be, your education needs to be brought from the bottom up to the top, but I would put it below the career profile. And as a matter of fact, I have a collegiate template that's out there, and if you head to the blog or you head to my YouTube channel and you look for the video that says, this one trick can make your college resume stand out, there's a collegiate template. And for you, Cheryl Ann, use the collegiate template because the education is second. It's actually second, it's not the first thing you see. There's actually a profile that all college students, especially, for internships or your first job out of school, that you should have. And Cheryl Ann, you should treat this that way. You just come with years of experience as a police officer. So I hope that helps. Baby Turtle, you can put your LinkedIn profile on your resume. S. Long, how do you join the boot camp? Check out by the way, folks, I'll tell you what, because you're here, there's still 138 of you watching me. If you email me, right now the boot camp costs $600, and so the boot camp costs $600, and there's limited bonuses. There's still an all access pass to the Mile Walk Academy. But if you email me and you say, I was on the live show today, can I get it for $100 off? So $497, and I'll do a resume review for you. It's awesome, but you got to reference this. So make sure that you email me, and my email is alacivita@milewalk.com. There you go. I love it. Hector, thank you, Andy. Your program has changed my life. Folks, is that not an endorsement? He is talking about the boot camp because Hector just got in last week. He's being interviewed by Fortune 5 companies for great career opportunities. This is a guy who signed up for the boot camp, I think like a week ago. And Hector, I am so thrilled for you. Folks, the stuff works, and I know $500 sounds expensive, but trust me, the value that it will help you create for yourself. And I mean, think about it. If you're earning $50,000 a year and you make $250 a day, it takes you 2 days to earn the money to pay for that boot camp. And if I can help you find your job 2 days faster, it pays for itself. But what if I help you get 87 times return like I did with Mark, or even an extra $10,000 or $5,000? It is totally worth it, and you become part of my family. Literally, the Mile Walk Academy family. There's a great community. It is a ton of fun. Email me. Hector, I'm so glad for you. All right. Let me see. And Kara is telling Hector how awesome. All right, folks, let me take Monica. Glad you're following from Australia. Stacy C, good to see you. We got another question from Frida about being a premium LinkedIn member. It's not necessary. Let me see. Oh, Julio's in. All right, how many interviews for the same op are too much? Does for example, 5 interviews signal your interviewers are having trouble to, for instance, empathize with you? No, I don't think that's too many. I don't know if it was, I'm assuming it was not 5 interviews with the same person, Julio, but 5 interviews could be very many or it could be very few depending on your position. So no, I wouldn't give you a hard and fast number either way. It depends what your job is, where where you're located, the type of company, your level, all that good stuff plays a part. All right, folks, one more question here. Okay, S Long has a question. I picked this one because it doesn't get asked that much. Suggestions, thoughts on going through a headhunter recruiter, looking and keep running into temp to hire companies. If so, ideas to utilize the best company. So S Long, I'm assuming what you're asking me is, or what you're saying, I hope I'm making the right inference here. You're not having luck, so you think going to a headhunter or a recruiter is going to get you better results. And what I want you to know is that's not likely to be the case. Recruiters and headhunters work on behalf of companies. They don't work on behalf of individuals. And so when you contact them, most of the time they will not even get back to you. You have a very small percentage, even less than being found on LinkedIn with this 8%, of actually being hired into a company through a recruiter. Now, if you are going to a recruitment firm that is a staffing firm that is staffing temporary resources, that may be another option. You might have better luck that way, and you might be able to do a temp to hire. I'm assuming you don't want to do that, in which case I would go and look at the video that I did 2 months ago, titled Why Your Job Search is Taking So Long. That video has the plan I would put in motion to surface more job opportunities for yourself. It's really effective, and I lay out all the tactics based on your demographic, how much you earn, your age, how I would put my job search plan together, the activities that I would do. It is thoughtful and should be helpful to you to surface more opportunities. All right, folks, let me wrap it. It's 4:34. I'm running over, but listen, I want to thank you. Man, still 130 you on this. This is great fun. I'm back next week. I can't remember the time, if it's like 5 Central, it might be a little later in the day. I don't hold me to that. If you are on my Tips for Work and Life blog, which I hope you are, you're going to get an email on Wednesday letting you know the time on Thursday. I'll actually put and set up the stream as well. So if you're subscribed to my YouTube channel, you'll be able to come back and get a reminder, set a reminder on the live stream, which we will set. But I might not be able to do that till next week because I think we got some coaching in between. But I love having you. Thank you for coming. I love you guys. My community is so fun. I'm glad you're cheering each other on. I love having you. You're making me a better teacher. I hope the stuff I'm giving you is helping. And I love to hear the success stories, not just the people that are enrolled in my programs, but all of you out there that are benefiting from this. Believe me, let me know how you're doing because that is what keeps me going. All right, until next week, have a great one. And make sure to share it. And if I didn't get to your question, put it in the comments section and let me know. Till next week, have a great one.